everybody. Welcome. So today we are going to take an in-depth look at looping for beginners, okay? So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to find out how to set up and operate our looper. And then we're going to use our looper to simulate a second guitar player so that we can kind of practice playing with another player, because a lot of us practice alone. And then lastly, we're going to look at the fun part of things, and that we're going to start playing over a pre-looped chord progression, okay? So all kinds of good stuff. Let's get into it right now. All right, here we are. So what we're going to do is I am going to refer you to a video in my gear section exactly about this type of looper that I'm using, the Ditto looper. So the way to connect it, the way it operates, everything can be found in that video. So here it's just, I'm going to allude to it, but here, this video, it's really more about how do we create a loop, how we work our pedal, and how we use it to practice. That's the main features that we're going to deal with right now. So first of all, let's take a look at our looper. It's a simple design. It's got one button, which is your typical stomp button. And then we have on this one a volume control. I've got it cranked all the way to the top, and then I use my guitar to determine how loud I want the signal. If you want to do it another way, that's completely up to you. These one button loopers, the one button has to have multiple functions, of course, right? Because there's only one button. Now, something like this unit, the Boss RC500, this is basically a double looper, so it's 2 in 1. So I could technically run and build 2 loops at the same time. It also has other things like, drum machines and effects and all this other stuff that really you don't need, okay? And I got to tell you, it is an extremely difficult box to operate, no matter what anyone tells you. Only the highest level looping geeks and nerds will probably venture into something like that Boss unit. It's just way too much for what you need, okay? So we're going to use this Ditto version. There's other versions out there, but this is a good basic pedal. And again, I have no affiliation with them. I'm just showing you what I use, okay? Or what got me started in looping. So the one button function is your on-off button. It also acts as your overdub button, okay? It also acts as your stop button, and then it also acts as a way to remove the last overdub that you put on. So it has a lot of functions, so we have to learn how to use that button. And lastly, it erases everything. We have to learn how to do that as well, okay? So the first thing is, it's real simple. When you start a loop, and we've talked about this before, we have to start and stop it at the exact same spot, okay? So what that means is if we're going to do a chord progression, let's say we'll do a 2-chord progression, let's just do D and A, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's what we want to record, okay? The 8 beats of D and the 8 beats of A. So we're going to do that right now, okay? And we have to start and stop the looper at the exact same spot in the progression. And remember, this looper, or any looper, there is no delay. The split second, hundredth of a second that you hit that off button in your loop, it throws it right back and plays. So it's so close, like there's no delay at all, that if you keep playing at the same rhythm, you won't even hear the looper until you stop playing. That's how precise these things are. So keep that in mind, okay? And we're going to do that right now. We're going to do a D and an A. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So the first thing we got to do, I always play through so I get my timing, right? Like you just don't start because you don't know, you got to have some sort of a timing. So I go around once. So I go 1, 2, 1. Now we go. Start. Stop. See how we can keep playing and you can't really until I stop playing. All right. That gives us a perfectly seamed loop. Now, if I had started or stopped too early or too late, we would have an uneven loop. And what happens is as the last chord fades out, the other one starts to abruptly, or the last one fades out and then there's a silence of da-da before the new one starts. So it's not a perfect connection. So that's the first thing we have to practice. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that is a lot harder to do than it looks. Okay? So it's so important when you're doing this not to get overwhelmed that you can't do it. This is not something you're going to do in 5 minutes. It took me probably a few days, maybe longer. And I don't mean 8 hours a day. I mean a few tries over 4 days or something like that before I could confidently start and stop it in the same position and get a seamless loop. And even now I still make mistakes. So please don't get overwhelmed by that. It's just a matter of, remember, you're doing something different in your experience, your learning journey, right? Left hand, right hand, ear, and brain. And we've been working that. All of a sudden you got a foot you got to think about. Oh my God, I got to get that foot in sync too. So there is a bit of a learning curve. Remember the juggler analogy? We're adding another ball. Okay? All right. Those of you that have been with me a while know what I mean with that. So, all right, so what have we done? We've got a loop going, okay, that we have now stopped. Now, when I restart the loop from a stopped position, it's one click. Okay, now our loop is playing again. Now, if I want to stop it again, I have to hit it twice. If I hit it once, it's going to think I'm overdubbing and the record light will come on and it'll want me to do something. For example, so if I think I'm stopping and I just go, now the light's on and it's expecting me to play something. Listen. There's my do, right? Because it was waiting for that. It's recording, okay? Now I've done something, so now I have a bass loop, and now I've got one overdub, but I don't like the overdub. I want to take it off, okay? I press and hold the button until that green light flashes, and now my overdub. Now I cannot go any further in the deleting process. I can only delete the last thing that I put up. I can only delete that. I can't unpeel it like an onion, which you think you'd be able to, but you can't. Now maybe there are pedals out there that allow you to do that. So remember that. You can only undo your last one. Simple as that. So you get a new idea, you want to try something different, you pretty much have to start from scratch. All right? So when I start the looper, okay, and now I want to stop the looper properly without overdubbing, I have to hit the button twice. 2 quick stops, okay, which is a bit of a pain, especially if you're trying to use this thing in a live setting. With those fancier loopers, like the double ones, they usually have a dedicated on-off switch. So as long as you select the right channel, you just hit the button once. It's a stop button, and it's always a stop button. This, you got to use one button for everything, remember, so we have to use it in different ways. So to stop the looper, it's a quick double tap, okay? Now, I can start it from this position. When it's flashing like this, green, I can start it with just one tap without kicking in the overdub. There we go. Now to stop it, 2 quickies. Right, so let's start it again. Now if I don't do the 2 quickies, it turns red. Remember, now I'm recording, okay? So now it's flashing. Watch. See it flash? That signals the beginning of the loop. Now I have an overdub on here, but it's silent because I didn't play anything. So I'm going to press and hold until that quick flash again. Now I'm back to my bass. I got 8 beats to work with, right? Okay, now I've stopped it and I've decided, you know what? I don't want that loop anymore. No problem. So now you just press and hold. Now with these loopers, or this one specifically, you're going to hear about a half a second of music. See how I pressed and held it until the light went out? And you got that extra, just a couple of bars there, right? Which can be annoying. And if you're using this in a live setting, you got to remember that. If you're making your loops on the go, if you get that good and comfortable, and then all of a sudden you want to get out of a loop and kill it, You got to remember that when you do that to delete and you hold that down, it's going to play for a couple of beats. So when you're really good and comfortable, you just kill the volume. Some people replace that knob there with a much larger knob that they can, with their foot, move it and even kill the volume. Then they stop their pedal. It's a pain in the neck. Me personally, I just let it go for the 2 beats. Most people don't even notice what you're doing anyways. But again, remember, the whole idea here is we're using it for practice in the comfort of our music room. That's for the most part, okay? So we've covered recording, which is just 1 tap. The light turns red, okay? So let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our loop, okay? So we've covered that. Now we want to do a little overdub. Now we got 8 beats, remember, okay? So at the flash, we know we're at the beginning. Here comes the flash. Okay, now I got my... There's my overdub, okay? Now if I want to overdub on top of that, and I want to know, I don't know where the loop is, wait for the flash. There's the flash, that's the beginning of the loop, right? I just did anything just to show you, right? There's my first overdub. There's the end of my last one. I want to get rid of that. I press and hold until it flashes. Now all I've got is the original and the second one, which I now cannot get rid of. Can't get rid of it. What I've done is I put it back on. Okay, did you notice that? Okay, so here we go. We've got our third overdub, which we didn't like. So we're going to press and hold till it flashes. Now we just got this little riff. No more of that third one. Okay? Now if I do that again, that other little one comes back. Here's that, hear the end? That one I put on the end. So that's at the end of the chain. You can't do anything else now. You can take the last loop, remove it, and put it back on. But that's it. If you're not happy with what you got to scratch the whole thing, right? So you're in this position, you stopped it, it's flashing green, okay? You have to just bite the bullet and say, okay, I got to do this all over again. That's how your looping pedal functions. Now let's take a look at how we're going to use this to play along with other guitar players. Well, here we go. Let's make a loop, right? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to play, what, D and A, right? So here we go. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now it's playing behind me. There we go. So there's my initial, I've got 8 bars to play with now, right? Okay. Now I might want to work on my bar chords. So think of this as having another guitar player playing open chords. And I'm going to play over top. Now if I want to record this, no problem. Here we go. So now I have stacked 2 guitars, one playing open chords, DA, and the other one playing power chords, DA, or bar chords, DA. Okay? Now, I could play over top of that. See how that sounds. Let's get rid of that. So now we got our, now to stop, double tap. Okay, let's make another loop just to get it right. Gonna kill this, press and hold till the light goes out. Now we're back to scratch. Okay, so let's do a G, D, C, G. Okay, here we go. G, D, C, G. Keep playing. Same rhythm. You won't hear the looper. Here we go. Now I'm going to stop playing, let the looper take over. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a different set of chords, with the same chords, but in a different way. I'm going to play bar chords over the open chords, okay? Starting from the top. G, D, C, G, G. This is great for just practicing your synchronization with another guitar player. All right, so that's great for playing along, right? So now you got two guitar players, and it forces you to stay in rhythm and timing and all that kind of stuff. So it's invaluable, right? Now, the most fun way to use the looper is obviously what we're going to do now, which is take a chord progression and play over it. Okay, so we'll just keep the same one. I think we have an idea of what we have to do to make a loop. So there's a couple of things when you make a loop that you got to keep in mind. After that, it's creativity. And those two things are, once again, the length of the bass loop, the first one you put down, is going to determine what you can do after. So if you put a long bass down, you can always play shorter overdubs. But if you put a short bass down, you can't play longer overdubs. So keep that in mind. And the second thing is, when we create a loop, we've got to start the loop and stop the loop in the exact same spot in the loop, right? Okay. So we've got our loop. Now let's have some fun. So really what we've got now is we've got a guitar player sitting in front of us that's playing a G, D, C, G chord progression. So let's start her up. There's your G. It just gives us so much ability to be creative. We don't have to worry about our other guitar player. He doesn't fall out of time. He doesn't stop for bathroom breaks or go to the bar to get another drink. He just sits there and plays all night. And that's what you want, right? Okay, so look, the thing about this is, again, it's not something you're going to pick up right away, and it's not something I would use in a live setting until you're really, really comfortable and confident, because things do happen. And sometimes in a live setting, it's not so much that they happen because they're going to happen. It's how you deal with it, And you may not have the confidence and the experience yet to deal with something where, oh my God, I hit the button the wrong, now it's playing a loop, or now it's overdubbing instead of oh my God, I'm lost, what do I do? I'm panicking, and it messes you up, right? So be careful of that in a live setting. Other than that, hey, this is it. And this is it's such an invaluable tool. And when I started doing this, it elevated my guitar playing, my timing, my rhythm. Everything just improved so much, so fast, right? And when I started playing notes and scales and trying to figure things out, this was perfect. I didn't have to feel inferior in front of another guitar player or someone maybe I didn't know that well. I could just let rip, and I can make all the mistakes that I wanted to. And, well, one good thing about this guitar player, it never laughs at you or puts you down. So that was cool too. Again, thanks so much for watching. I hope it's been beneficial to you. Thank you for your ongoing support. If you like what you see, also check out my library. It's quite vast of all interesting stuff. Hit the subscribe button, because that's the only way you can really support the channel if you like what I'm doing. And of course, like some videos or make some comments. I guess that all is important too. But if you subscribe, hey, that's the best way to support me, and it doesn't cost you anything. So, all right. We'll see you again soon. And remember, hey, it's all about the practice.